everybody, it's Cindy here from Hooked on Crafts, and today we're going to be making this Santa Baby crocheted ribbed twisted ear warmer. Yep, I think this would make the perfect thing to wear out shopping with your girlfriends or your sisters maybe, so that you guys could find each other really easy. We're going to be using some red acrylic yarn. I'm using Big Twist from Joann Fabrics and some Bernette Pipsqueak yarn for the fuzzy trim along the edges. I'm using an eye size crochet hook, a yarning needle, and some scissors. All right, let's get started. Okay, so for this project, we're going to start with a half double crochet foundation row. So to do that, you're going to make a slip stitch and you are going to chain 2. I'm going to slow this down a lot so that you get a good look at it. So chain 2, you are going to yarn over, and you are going to go into that second stitch from your hook, and you're going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. So essentially what you're doing is you're creating your foundation chain and a half double crochet all at the same time. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go into that stitch on the very bottom and make sure you get both loops. You can see there I only got one, so I'm going back after the other one. Yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. So I said before that gauge really isn't important in this project, because really as long as you make your foundation chain measure the right amount of inches, you will be fine making your headband. So if you use an H size hook and it takes you more stitches, that's fine, as long as it measures 18 inches in the end. If you're using a bigger size hook, you would use fewer stitches. I myself used about 50 stitches total to get to 18 inches. So again, you're going to yarn over, go through the bottom of that stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch. Take your time and get this row right. It's really the hardest part of the process here. Yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, go through all 3 loops. And you're just going to keep continuing this process until you get to 18 inches. Pull through the 1 loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now I'm going to speed this up quite a bit here so you guys don't have to keep watching this in slow motion, and then I'm going to jump right to the end of our row. These headbands work up so quick. I can do one in about a half an hour. They would be great for craft shows if you sell things at the craft shows, or I am making a lot of these for coworkers to give away as gifts at the holiday time. Just something little extra that I can give them without having to spend a ton of money. And they work up really fast. So now here I am, I've got my 50 stitches in. I'm going to show you, see how stretchy that foundation row is? Now if you would have just chained 50 and then went back through and did your half double crochets, it would have not have been that stretchy. And then that makes your headband a little tight. So it's worth the extra effort to do that half double crochet foundation chain. So for row 2, you are going just to do half double crochets into the back loop only. Now you'll see here I'm skipping that first stitch. Don't do that. It made my ends kind of wonky, so you should really go into that first stitch. And I do this throughout this whole one, but I learned my lesson after this one and I went into the first stitch. So you're just going to go into that back loop and half double crochet all the way to the end. Now I am going to be doing 10 rows of half double crochets in the back loop only. You'll see when I get to the end here, I will speed it up a lot here. And when I get to the end, I'm going to half double crochet into those last stitches there. And chain one and turn your work. And then you're just going to go back down doing a half double crochet into the back loop only. Again, don't skip that first stitch like I did there. Go ahead and work into that first stitch. And I'm going to make 10 rows. I want my headband to be about 4.5 inches wide because I just think that's a good width for an adult size. It covers your ears really nicely. Now you'll see at the end, I actually made a smaller one of these, like a mommy and me. And I only made that one 3.5 inches wide for her little girl. So you can see here now I have jumped to the very end and I've done my 10 rows, half double crocheting in the back loop only the whole way. Now when you go to finish this off, leave yourself a really long tail because we're going to use this tail to sew together the twist part. So you're going to need it to be a little bit long. So this next part is we're going to add the fur trim around the top and the bottom of this panel. And this is where the magic happens. And I am just going to join my yarn right there in the corner. And I am going to do a single crochet all the way down the top. And then I'm going to turn it and do one all the way down the bottom. Now the first one of these I made, I did just crochet around the two ends also, but I didn't like how that looked when I went to sew it together. The white just kind of got in the way and it wasn't near as good of a look for me anyways. So again, you're just going to single crochet all the way down the top. And I'm going to speed that up for us so you don't have to watch me do that. And then when you get to the end, you're just going to finish it off and trim your tail. And then you're going to turn your work and start on the bottom side of our headband. And this little furry yarn is perfect for these. I bought this as like a Black Friday doorbuster deal or something at Joann Fabrics. It was half price. So I think I only paid like $2 or $3 for it. It was a really good price. And that one little ball of yarn I've made like 4 or 5 of these already. And I'm not even close to using all my yarn. So now we're just going to join our yarn in the other corner. And we're going to single crochet all the way back down the other side. And you can see how it's starting to come together. I think this would be really cute to do like a Grinch one in green too and put white trim on it. I think that would be funny. I love the Grinch, so that might be another project for me. I've seen people on the internet, they do these with the fur yarn and they put the fur yarn on them. They're not so much a Christmas themed ear warmer at that time, but just an ear warmer they could use all year long. But I like the Christmassy ones. And then once you get the fur trim on both ends, you're just going to take your time and weave in your ends from this pipsqueak yarn and weave the white into the white and the red into the red so that it's kind of seamless and you won't be able to tell where you've weaved your ends in. So here I'm just going to take my time and weave them in, get them in there really good. I like to weave them all in before I sew my headband together. So now you're going to take your long tail, and I apologize, I lost the footage that I had originally. I wasn't in frame, so you couldn't really see how I did the twist part. So this is a smaller headband, but we're doing the same exact thing. We're just going to lay it right side up. You're going to fold the two ends in to meet, and then you're going to kind of pick it up and make a sandwich with it. You're going to make 2 U's, just like so. And I always want to leave that yarn with my tail on it on the outside. I just think it's easier for me to sew in. Now when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're going through all 4 layers. So make sure you get your corner of your headband, you see right there the white. Make sure you get that attached so that your twist turns out really nice. And I'm just going to sew back and forth just under that first loop on the end. And I go, through one way and then back the other way just to make sure that it's sewn together really good. And then once you get it all sewn together, you're just going to kind of tie it off and weave in the ends of this long tail and snip it off so that it's all nice and tidy. And then I am going to turn it, and this is kind of where the magic happens, is when you undo it. And you can see here I'm taking my time and sewing that in there because I do want it to be very secure and I don't want their headband to fall apart after they wear it. So I decided to make a mommy and me. I have one girl that I work with and she has a little girl who's 1 year old. So I made that one about 15 inches long. Actually, she's about 1.5 to 2. So I made it about 15 inches long. I do have a chart on my Pinterest board labeled Crochet if you guys want to join me on Pinterest. And it gives you the different links for headbands for all of the different sizes, all the way from newborn to adult. So that was very helpful. Somebody had shown that in one of the groups I'm in on Facebook, and I pinned it to my Pinterest so that I would always have it handy and know what size I needed for all the different ages. So here it's all sewn up and you twist it and voila. I love this, guys. It is the perfect holiday headband. And here's the adult size one, and then there is the little girls one for the mommy and me. I bought this template that I have the adult one on Etsy. I will link that below. Thanks for joining me for the project today, guys. Have a great day. If you guys enjoyed this project, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. Hope to see you guys again soon.